Okay, Loudepot back here again, and I'm going to try to explain to you how your house, waistline, and cesspool work, and how you would, if your toilet bowl is backing up or your tub is backing up, to get a good idea of what to do and what to look for. Basically, your house has a plumbing system where it actually leaves the toilet bowl and goes into a waistline, which leaves, this is the basement by the way, which leaves, I don't want to interfere with the drawing, which leaves the house, but before it leaves the house and goes to a cesspool, there is a big cast iron house trap. And then the wastewater goes into the cesspool. And this house trap will have two definite things to let you know it's a house trap. One, it'll have a fresh air vent that vents to the outside near the garden somewhere. And two, it'll have two distinct plugs on it. Now the plugs will either look a brass threaded plug like this. I hope you can see that. Or it may have the new style fits-all lead plug where it seems like it's threaded and somebody just hammered it in with a hammer. That's the new way you're doing it, actually. But it basically will have a plug on each end, and they do that for a reason. One plug goes toward the cesspool or the sewer. The other plug goes toward the house. And basically what will happen most times is the water can't flow out and the toilet bowl will back up with water. And there's basically two reasons why that happens. One, the trap itself clogged. The trap is there because there's always water in it, and once there's water in it, smell from the cesspool, gases from the cesspool can't get back into your home. That's why that trap is there. It's filled with water, and a lot of times it'll clog up, and that's the main reason why the bowl will fill with water. It's a very easy fix. If you were to locate the house trap, or you can't find the house trap and you want to locate the house trap, you would walk around the outside of the house and look for this vent that is actually right on the house. It's about 2 feet high, and it's right on the siding or on the shingles. And this is the vent. Once you see that vent is on the house, that house trap is inside the house, either in the basement floor, in the crawl space, or in the basement right on the wall. One of the three. That house trap is inside if you see this. If the plumber decided to put the house trap on the outside of the house and it is not in the basement, then that house trap would be outside underneath the dirt. Go into the cesspool like that. In that case, he ran a vent up through the garden with a mushroom cap or a simple return bend, which will look like this. And that'll be to suck fresh air. And basically, you'll walk around the outside of the garden and you'll look for something like this. It almost looks like a giant candy cane. And it'll either be white, or if it's a real old house, it'll be black in cast iron. And that'll give you a good idea. If you see this, that house trap is straight down in the dirt right underneath this. And you want to get to that house trap because you want to get access to the two clean-out plugs. These two plugs are the key to everything. Once you get access to the trap and you open up the plugs, and by the way, always open up the plug closest to the cesspool. Once you have this house trap and it's clogged, there's pressure somewhere. And if you open up the house to the back, the one that's closest to the toilet bowl, if that toilet bowl's backing up, there's water pressure in here. And if you open that plug, you're going to get a very dirty shower. So open up the plug closest to the cesspool first. And these plugs don't open so easily, but you can smash them with a hammer and bust them into pieces and get them out. And just go to the Home Depot and buy a replacement lead plug, which just hammers into the hole. They look like threads, but they're not threads. They're just grooves. And they tap in with a hammer and seal the hole again. Whatever it takes to get the plug out, either with a wrench or smash it open, get the plug out. And then you'll know right away what's going on, because you'll either see the house trap will kind of not have that much water in it here, or it'll well over the top and spill water onto the floor. If the house trap has no water right there, or very little water, the water isn't high and coming out of the threads of the trap, the clog is probably right in here. And you could simply stick a small snake in there, maybe put a big glove on and stick your hand in there and clean it out. But whatever it takes, that's usually right there. But be careful, once you do that, all that water's coming, and it's coming real quick. The other thing is, the cesspool could be full. And most people think that if the grass isn't wet, and by the way, this is your grass, this is your cesspool under the lawn, that the cesspool isn't full. Well, that's not true, because your cesspool only has to have a water level in it. If the house trap is here and goes into the pool here, the water level only has to be as high as your entry pipe. The pipe usually spills water down into the pool. But if your water level is as high as the pipe, you're full. Depending on how deep the pool is under the earth, under your lawn, is dependent on where the pipe enters. If the pipe enters here and your water level's here, you're full. You don't have to see water on the grass to be full. Sometimes you do, because the pipes are high and they enter up high. And by the time you're full, because you are at the top. But a lot of times, especially if there's a basement in the house, there's a bathroom in the basement, you actually have a basement, a house trap in the basement, and the waistline going out low. Now, that cesspool only has to be full to there, to be full. You could open up the cover and look down and see 10 foot of air and still have a full pool. So by opening up the plug on the house trap and cleaning out in here, which is number one, if you do have water coming out of here, by the way, when you open up that plug and it's dripping out and it keeps coming, there's a clog under the lawn or the cesspool's full, one of the two. But it's that simple. There's either a clog under the lawn or the cesspool's full. If you don't have cesspools and this line goes all the way to the street because you have a city sewer or a county sewer, and you get water out of here when you open this plug and it keeps coming, or it's very, very full to the top of the plug, there's a clog somewhere under the lawn. If you open up this plug and it seems like there's no water, no movement, and it's kind of low, the water, there's a clog in here or going back toward the bowl. And by the way, if you open up these plugs and it seems fine, there's a good chance that the clog is in the bowl. More times than not, the clog is in the toilet bowl, unless the cesspool's full. But you can tell if the clog's in the bowl because the tub won't get water. The tub of the shower will always be clean. If your tub or your shower starts to fill up with water that's in the same bathroom, wastewater, that indicates a full pool or a clog somewhere else. So just keep in mind, locating that house trap and opening that one plug that's closest toward the cesspool or the sewer will give you a determination of what's going on. And you can easily snake that with a Roto-Rooter. Home Depot also sells a bag that you would put on a garden hose, and you'd insert the garden hose in the house trap and maybe down a foot and turn it on. And the high pressure hose actually forces the hose screws in this end. It forces the water out this end and blows the bag up and seals the pipe at the same time. So all your pressure is going forward toward the clog. I don't recommend using this in the house too much because it can go up a vent and come down and flood you out when you pull this out. But it does work on the main lines if it's not that bad of a clog. And you can get this right in the Home Depot. Very cheap. To unclog it. And then you can get these repair fits-all plugs also, which you can hammer right back into the hole. Because you're probably not going to screw out the old brass ones. You're probably going to smash them out with a hammer and cut them with a sawzall. Get whatever it takes to get them out of the cast iron house trap and do it. But once your trap is clean, the pipe is empty, and the pool is empty, your bathroom's going to work as long as there's nothing in the bowl. And by the way, one more quick thing before I go. Treating your cesspool every month with Rid-X. This is your pool. And your pool winds up getting sludge on the bottom, and it gets very, very thick. And it winds up being so thick that the water can't drain down into the earth anymore. Treating the cesspool with Rid-X every month actually works because it's billions and billions of little microscopic bacteria, and they wake up and they start eating and eating and eating. And they die off, or if you have a second pool, they'll actually go out the pipe into the second overflow pool, and you start losing them. But if you keep filling the pool with Rid-X every month and keep the population high, that sludge will never build up that high in the bottom of the pool. It'll always stay very minimal. And having that sludge minimal in the pool lets the water keep draining down into the earth. So keep the Rid-X going every month, and that'll keep the pool empty.